Okay, welcome to the next problem. It may not look like this on your worksheet. I'm having AI kind of change them up a little bit for me. But this problem is asking us to factor this completely. So in the problem that we did a second ago, this one here, we went from this quadratic form or this polynomial form into this factored form. Now they're giving us the quadratic form and we need to go into the factored form. There is a technique to do this. I'm going to show it to you after I explain how I would recommend you doing it on the test. On the test, I would lean into your ability to multiply the factored form together to find this. How do I do that? Go through answer by answer and multiply these out until you find the correct one that adds up to 3x squared plus 7x minus 6. All right. So we're back solving this problem. This is what it looks like. I'm going to take the first one, A, and I'm going to multiply this. This is why this skill, this multiplying these factored quadratics, is something I want you to really be a master of. Get fast at it, okay? And we're going to FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. This is the first step. X times 3x is 3x squared. So I always forget. I'm going to change this into adding the negative, okay? Is 3x squared. Okay, well, they're all, the first one is all 3x squared, so this one might be it. X, and that's first. Now I do my outer. X plus 1 is 1x. I don't need to write in the 1 because it's assumed. Now we do our inner. Negative 6 plus 3x is plus negative 18x. And negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Okay, so this will always be your form after you FOIL something. The only next step that you have is to combine the two inner terms that are the same. Okay, so 3x squared and negative 6. Well, I see that 3x squared and negative 6 are the first and the third term in the answer in the problem, so that doesn't help. But if I combine these two, I have 1x plus a negative 18x. I end up with a negative 17x. That is not the answer. Sadly, I know. So I know it's not A. Okay, so let's try B. You will get to a point where you are so fluent with these where you can do them in your head. Almost. That's where I really want you to be with this skill, because it won't take you nearly as long as I'm spending on it now. Here's number B. X times x, 3x squared. I'm going to go a little bit faster so you can see how fast it can be done. X times 2 is 2x. Negative 3 plus 3 is negative 9x. Negative 3 plus times a positive 2 is minus 6. If I combine those two terms in the middle there, which are alike, as they will always be, I end up with negative 7x minus 6. Can't be that one. This is a positive 7x. So we will go on to C. X plus 3. Now I'm really going to show you how fast this can be done, okay? Minus 2. X times x is 3x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x plus 9x minus 6, 3x squared. Combine these two terms, plus 7x minus 6. Voila, there's my answer. I didn't even have to do number D. Okay, get really good at multiplying these quantities when you have these quadratics. That's the lesson of the day. If you want to be done with there, just master that technique. Stop watching the video. I'm going to keep going though, and I'm going to show you the actual technique for solving these in case you you want to do a deeper dive. Okay? All right. Well done. Okay, so if you're still watching, it's because you want to know the nerdy math way of factoring quadratics, which is also a very important skill, but it's I just not 100% necessary for the GED. Okay, so I'm gonna write a different one on the board so that we could talk about it um, with slightly easier numbers. Uh, so so we assume there to be a 1 here. So the first step when you're factoring a quadratic is to take whatever coefficient is in front of the x squared term and whatever the constant coefficient is, the constant number is, by which I mean the number that has no variable component, and you multiply them together. So in this case, it's 1 times 8. And that equals 8. The product of 1 and 8 is 8. So the product of this number and this number is 8. When we get to this problem, it'll be the product of this number and this number. Now I want to look at this and say, okay, what are the factors of 1 and 8 that add up to 6? That add up to 6. So like 1 and 8 are factors of 8. Do they add up to 6? No, they add to 9. So it's not 1 or 8. How about 2 and 4? Ah, yes, 2 and 4 add up to 6. Awesome. So now I'm going to take these numbers, 2 and 4, and I'm going to break up the 6 into a 2 and a 4. How does that work? Well, it looks like this. It's combining like terms in reverse. Okay, what do I do now? Now I take the first two terms and I take the second two terms and I group them off. I'm going to factor the first two terms and I'm going to pull out their greatest common factor, which in this case is x. And I'm left with x plus 2. And I'm going to do that for the second quantity also. I pulled out a 4 here. Now, and this is really tricky, but I'm going to look at this, the whole term here, and this whole term here, and I'm going to ask myself, hey, what factors do they have in common? Well, the factor that they have in common is x plus 2. So I'm going to pull x plus 2 out. And I'm going to arrive at this. And this term I'm left with an x. And this term I'm left with a 4. And now I've gone from the polynomial form to the factored form. Crazy, right? So let's take a look at this problem. How does it work when the coefficient in front of the x squared is not a 1? Well, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to change this to adding a negative number. So I'm not multiplying 3 times 6. I'm multiplying 3 times negative 6. I'm going to do this work over here. 3 times a negative 6, which is equal to negative 18. Well, what are the factors of negative 18 that add up to 7? Well, this is a little bit tricky because it's a negative 18. So 9 and 2 are factors of 18. They're not factors of negative 18. Negative 9 and 2 are factors of negative 18. They add up to negative 7. And that's not right. We're looking for positive 7. So here's what I'm going to do. Whoops. I'm going to turn this factor into a negative 2. And now they do add up to positive 7. So that's what I want to split this middle term into. A positive 9x, and then I'm going to add a negative 2x. So this middle term will add up to 7x. Okay, now same thing. I'm going to factor by grouping. I'm going to pull a 3x out of the first term. And I'm going to pull a negative 2 out of the second term. And if I did it correctly, I should end up with the same quantity in both terms. And now I'm going to factor out that quantity, x plus 3. And if I look at my answer keys, if I'm solving it this way, I'm already done. X plus 3 is only in one of the two, is only in one of the four possible answers. But I'm left with here is 3x plus a negative 2. And if I want to rewrite this, adding a negative number as subtraction so that it looks exactly like the answers, I can. 3x minus 2. There you go. That is like a year's worth of mathematics in like 5 minutes, but it'll get you started if this is a technique that you want to start exploring. Okay. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.